Hello you guys, and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and today let's talk zero waste again. It's been a little while since I've talked about zero waste. I'll actually link a video up here I did about maybe 3 months ago already. Time is flying. But where I was talking about some zero waste hacks in general that I incorporate into my life. But I have to be honest, I haven't ever really gone all in on zero waste. And it's been something that I definitely have wanted to try, but I haven't really tried it. But I'm finally ready to take the plunge more so and discuss zero waste more fully and actually try to live a lot more zero waste in my daily life. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 major components of zero waste, but also kind of discussing what my actions are going to be. Over the next month or so, I'm going to be challenging myself to live a much more zero waste lifestyle. Again, I'm not necessarily aiming for perfection. I'm sure there will be mistakes made, and I'm going to be kind of keeping better track of that. But I am very motivated to do this for a couple reasons, and they actually both have to do with the place where Jake and I have moved. We overall really love where we've moved, but there's 2 big trade-offs that we're really missing from our past house that we rented. First of which, we no longer have access to recycling, and that breaks my heart. Like, I can't throw away recyclable items. I just can't do it. So my parents live about a half hour away, and we have dropped a few things off there when I go to see them. And also there is a recycling center close to my school. So there are places where I'm able to drop off recyclables. So that's really awesome that I'm still able to make it work, but I feel sad thinking about all of the recycling that could be happening from, I mean, it's a big complex, so all the other people who live in this area not having access to recycling, it does make me sad. But also we no longer have a garbage disposal with our sink. So before, where we would grind up different food, like fruit and vegetable scraps, now the option for them has been the garbage. And again, that is not something I'm really happy about and is much more wasteful. So because of those things in general, I feel especially motivated to start taking action on a more zero waste lifestyle. So today I'm going to talk about the 5 key parts of zero waste a little bit and sort of almost issue this as a challenge for myself. I am predominantly going to be focusing on food first. In the comments below, if you actually want to let me know if there are specific grocery store chains that you'd be very interested in. I'm definitely gonna be curious to see how stores stack up in terms of what is available. But I wanna break down the 5 major components of zero waste and sort of address how I'm going to do them in the challenge. Maybe it will even inspire you to try incorporating more zero waste elements into your own life as well, or give you ideas about these different components. The 3 R's are something that's more common: reduce, reuse, recycle. I think most people can tell you that, but I like the concept of the 5 R's, which have to do with refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, rot. So it adds a lot of layers to that 3 R's concept, and I think becomes a lot more important. And there are obviously other things. I've heard people include rethink as part of that, which is important. And I don't know exactly who kind of set up this, 5-tiered system. But regardless, with these components, I haven't been doing as much of some of these, so I want to incorporate more of that. So the first of which is refuse. And when I'm talking about refusing, that means not even allowing certain items to come into your life, just refusing them based upon the plastic use or the wasted elements of that item. So a great example for this, especially when thinking about like going out to eat, some of the items that they include, such as straws or plastic utensils, extra napkins. These are all things that you can refuse and just not use, not need. It's funny, I know a lot of people are very napkin oriented. I've never been. I've never really used napkins. I have messy tendencies, not necessarily when I'm eating though, and I just have learned not to need napkins, not to think about napkins. And so sometimes when people come over, they're like, are there napkins? And to be honest, I've never really registered having napkins because I've never used them. And so that's just something I have avoided completely in my life. It's very interesting to think how different choices affect things. Refusing, I think, is a really awesome first step, because whatever you refuse, you're not bringing into your life, therefore you're not contributing to waste in that way. Just like people could refuse straws and plastic utensils at restaurants, You can also refuse a lot of stuff when you're shopping. This is going to be a good challenge for me. When grocery shopping, I'm the kind of person who kind of gets excited if there's a new product that I want to try, and I might buy it. But a lot of times, those items tend to be a lot more processed, probably contain some packaging that can't be, dealt with in a zero waste fashion. Now, initially, being vegan has helped that, but even now, more and more products keep being put out on the market, such as ice cream is my perfect example. Tons of ice cream brands have vegan ice cream varieties now, and it's very easy to buy these different cartons of ice cream. It's vegan, so on one hand it's like, yay, but it's still oftentimes a carton that is plastic, or worse, like a waxy cardboard, something that basically can't be recycled and has to be thrown away. And that's really unfortunate. Trying to refuse these items can not only be great for our health and wallet, because we're not buying them, but also can be a great way to just avoid that stuff that can't be, reduced, reused, recycled, or rotted. The next part is to reduce. I think this is especially where a minimalist lifestyle fits in as well. Not only are you trying to refuse the excess in your life, but reducing what you're buying and reducing what you're consuming. If we can keep things more simple, then you are avoiding a lot of that unnecessary excess that easily piles up if you're not careful. I definitely want to drastically reduce the plastic I'm bringing into my life, as well as just the processed foods in general. There are times where processed foods are really comforting and delicious and convenient, but I desire to live a much more whole food, plant-based lifestyle. So that is something I've done a little bit here and there, but I think that this challenge can help me really reduce that unnecessary garbage, essentially, that I am bringing in. Next up, reusing. The reusing is actually something I think I'm doing more often, trying to get an alternative purpose with additional things. So if you're using it for one use, see if you can try to use the item again. From a food perspective, I think, if you're getting glass jars for your tomato sauce, not needing to go out and buy glass jars or Tupperware containers, just reusing the ones that you already have is maybe an option for that. I feel like at this point we have plenty of jars and containers, so it's not really something we need as much, but thinking about for buying bulk, using your glass jars over and over again, or even a plastic bag that you have already, using it again and again so you don't need to continue to get new ones, especially if you're buying bulk. Recycling, obviously important, and I'm not trying to hate on recycling with doing the zero waste challenge. Ultimately, I'm trying to reduce all of the waste total, but I want to reduce recyclables too. Not only because recycling is not as easily accessible for us at this time, ultimately it's much better than throwing away things in the landfill, but plastic can't be recycled into the same quality level of plastic. The plastic downgrades over time. Still, even though it's better to recycle than not, it's not a magical solution. It still requires energy and additional resources to take that item and create it into something else. So it's not a perfect system. Regardless, I'll continue recycling as we are, but again, trying to minimize packaging overall and refuse some of that highly processed, heavily packaged stuff. Finally, rot. This is something I admit that I've pretty much never done. I've always been very curious about composting and that sort of thing, and so Jake and I are actually going to be setting up a worm bin. We have done a little bit of the research. I'll probably make a video when I actually go into that, but basically a way to take some of our food scraps. I know not all things work well with that, but take our food scraps and have them turn into, really high quality compost or things that can be going back into the earth and the soil, not releasing a ton of methane and whatever else the gases they are giving off. That is definitely something we want to try. We don't have as much experience with that, so if any of you have worm bins or experience with compost and have any pro tips for us, that'd be great to hear from you in the comments below. But that is something we're hoping to do to also help reduce our scraps. And we have a bin ready to go, and like I said, we've done some research. We just actually have to get going with it. So those are in general kind of where we're at on these 5 R's and how we're going to be starting our zero waste challenge. Feel free to join us if you'd like, and we'd love to hear about, how it's going for you as well. Zero waste is something that there are a lot of great resources online, so just as I've been using those, I'm sure you can find those as well. I'll be very curious though to see kind of the experience as I see how these grocery stores stack up, because it's very interesting when you have a new restriction how your level of analysis or your perceptions about a store change. Just like when we first became vegan, we had a new sense of, okay, what's vegan, what's not, what store is best for us. And I think that with trying to live more zero waste, the same thing's going to happen. Regardless, if you don't want to miss out on the videos I post 3 times a week, you can hit that subscribe button. Feel free to check out some of our past videos here. I'll put the past zero waste one right here for you to check out, or you can subscribe by hitting the button there. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.